It's the terror of asking, what the hell do we do now? An injured Caitlin Clark saying, good luck now! The basketball goal gets higher and higher. Pressure on people, mainly Angel Reese, under pressure. When you think about it, there have been so many classic songs written about the WNBA dump. Obviously, Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie, which directly applies to what Angel Reese and her colleagues are going through right now. An immense amount of pressure to carry this dump of a league while Caitlin Clark recovers from a quad strain. What about the classic from TLC from the late 90s, No Scrubs? But all kidding aside, there is a state of emergency in the WNBA right now. Their only star, their cash cow, the only player capable of capturing interest from people who aren't identifying as they, them. Caitlin Clark is out for a minimum of 2 weeks and possibly longer with a quad strain. But KC, I just saw Caitlin Clark at practice today. She looked great! Yeah, that means nothing. I have seen Zion Williamson at shoot-around doing windmill dunks, and 30 minutes later, he's over on the bench with a pillow under his ass nursing his bruised caboose. The reality is, at this point, we don't know how much time Caitlin Clark is going to miss. If it were up to Uncle KC, Caitlin Clark would miss the remainder of the regular season, so jealous, entitled players in the WNBA can be reminded that no one is watching for them. No one is staying home on a Saturday afternoon to watch Natasha Cloud. Outside of Vlad Pooter, no one's buying tickets to see Bob Griner, and no one, I mean no one, is paying to see Angel Reese attempt to play basketball. Hell, not even Mama Reese is paying to watch this lack of skill. My inside sources are telling me that Mama Reese demands free tickets. The Chicago Bravado, they happily oblige because they're also giving away free tickets to the other dozen or so people that show up to the arena. Speaking of Angel Reese, she received an omen the other night from Kelsey Plum, the former plumber from the Las Vegas Anonymous Faces. The lovely Kelsey is now pretending to play basketball for the LA Sparkles. Over the weekend, they had a scrimmage against the Chicago Bravado. Now, the WNBA referred to it as a regular season game, but with the Chicago Bravado being one of the worst teams ever assembled, the Sparkles marketed the game to their fan base as a scrimmage. At one point during this humiliating beatdown, Kelsey Plum made Angel Reese jealous by doing something that she's never done. Kelsey Plum made a layup. Afterwards, she celebrated by delivering a message to Angel Reese, a message that eerily foreshadowed coming events. Watch for yourself.
Stevens, the drive by Plum. Once she gets by Reese, it's over.
For those who are not fluent in WNBA sign language, Kelsey Plum was telling Angel Reese visually that she's too small to guard her, even though Angel Reese is 6'3" and Kelsey Plum is the average height of a WNBA center, 5'8". Because Angel Reese is so unathletic, she is too small to guard Kelsey Plum. But like I said, this was foreshadowing things to come. With Caitlin Clark injured, the WNBA will be reliant on their other stars to carry the league. I'm not just talking about ratings. I'm not just talking about attendance. The WNBA will be reliant on their other stars to maintain the interest of the mainstream. With Angel Reese being the only player with mainstream name recognition, most of the pressure, it is going to be on her to perform. And we have plenty of evidence that proves Angel Reese is not qualified to carry the league. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel is in the description below. Earlier today on the second channel, we talked about the horrific coverage of the NBA provided by ESPN. Throughout the Western Conference Finals, Doris Burke has been an unmitigated disaster. And look, it's not her fault. It's ESPN's fault for putting her in this position. ESPN is consistently outshined by TNT. Next year, they'll be outshined by NBC and Amazon. For a network supposedly dedicated to sports, ESPN damn sure has a hard time covering their most important league, their most important broadcast partner. We talk about it on the second channel earlier today, so click the link in the description below and subscribe. Even though the mainstream media wants us to believe that Angel Reese is a huge star, we have years of evidence that proves otherwise. Like I say all the time, there is a huge difference between a star and a draw. You can be a star, you can be famous, and still not be able to draw flies to a fresh turd. Remember Travis Noah, former host of The Daily Show of Failure on Comedy Central? He's famous. Well, he's famous at least once a year when the Grammys can't find anyone else to host their increasingly irrelevant show, so they hire Travis by default. Travis Noah has mainstream name recognition, but he couldn't turn that into ratings. The Daily Show was averaging 350,000 viewers. As soon as Jon Stewart returned, they're hovering around 1 million. Angel Reese reminds me a lot of Don Lemon. Don Lemon was brilliant at causing controversy. He was great at generating attention. But during his final years at CNN, Don Lemon could not turn that controversy into ratings. It's the same exact thing with Angel Reese. She's great at creating stories. She knows how to manipulate the media. Girl, if this dump don't give me a raise, I'll refuse to play. We gonna clap back at them haters. We gonna tell Adam Silver to give us our bag. Yeah, Adam Silver is gonna give you a bag. He's going to give you a grocery bag and tell you to load it in the person's car who actually had the money to buy the groceries. For the past 12 months, the vast majority of the attention generated by Angel Reese in the WNBA, it has been based on race, which is fine in the short term. When you have been struggling to be noticed for 30 years, you do whatever it takes to get noticed. But here's the problem. Angel Reese and the WNBA have been using race to bring awareness to an incredibly bad product. Once you remove Caitlin Clark from the equation, there's no reason for people to watch this league, which is why people haven't been watching Angel Reese throughout her career. Her final season at LSU, this was the pinnacle of her drawing power. Angel Reese was coming off of winning a national championship. She was making cameos in these atrocious rap videos with Cardi B and some girl named Lado. Now keep in mind, this was before her public image was tainted. This was before Angel Reese was playing the role of the villain. Her final season at LSU, Angel Reese was filling the arena to 88% capacity. On the road, it was significantly worse. She was averaging just over 8,000 a game on the road. Last year, her rookie year with the Chicago Bravado, the numbers were eerily similar. It was around 88% capacity. Angel Reese averaged around 8,700 a game. Going into 2025, Angel Reese was the only star in the secondary dump unrivaled. For the first time in her career, it was her opportunity to prove that she could draw. It was her opportunity to prove that she did not need Caitlin Clark to draw an audience. What was the end result? Unrivaled averaged 221,000 viewers. For reasons unknown, the mainstream media called this a resounding success. The rest of us called it huge embarrassing failure. And now, Angel Reese has another opportunity to prove her drawing power. And the opportunity is coming very, very soon. Here in about 2 weeks, the Indiana Felines are playing the Chicago Bravado on CBS. The game is on June 7th. Caitlin Clark not scheduled to be reevaluated until June 9th. Not only is the game on CBS, It was also moved to the United Center, so it won't be played in the usual dump the Bravado play their home games in. If you look up tickets for the game on Vivid Seats, there's a graphic that says deals available. Translation? People are desperately trying to recoup some of the money they paid for these tickets. Without Caitlin Clark playing, you can get in the building for less than $30. And I would imagine prices will be significantly lower the closer we get to June 7th. Look, I don't want Caitlin Clark, or any player for that matter, to be injured. If I lost my voice and I couldn't talk for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, I would be devastated. I don't want to see Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Asia Wilson. I don't want to see anyone miss doing what they love over an injury or a health issue. I want Caitlin Clark to be healthy, but selfishly, I would not be upset if she missed the rest of the regular season, because it would give the WNBA exactly what they deserve. This poor young woman has dealt with a lot of bullshit. She's underappreciated. She has been physically attacked on the court. She's been criticized by her colleagues and the media. They have attributed her success to her skin color instead of her charisma and her drawing power. It pisses me off that WNBA players were going to use Caitlin Clark as leverage to increase their own salaries. It pisses me off that WNBA players were going to use Caitlin Clark to receive money they didn't earn. Whether she is out for 2 weeks or 2 months, it really doesn't matter. Over the next couple of weeks, the WNBA has, I think, 12 games on national TV or Amazon. There will be plenty of evidence proving they cannot draw without Caitlin Clark, which takes every bit of leverage away from WNBA players during negotiations for a new CBA. Now, whether the league uses that is a different story. But give me your thoughts on this. With Caitlin Clark injured, I think the pressure is on Angel Reese to perform. Tickets have already plummeted for her game against the Indiana Felines here in a couple of weeks. Could this Caitlin Clark injury further devalue the drawing power of Angel Reese? Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.